Hi, I'm Shira Notes, and this is Daily Wisdom. Growing up is not mandatory in the human experience, it is optional. But how sad it is to go through an entire lifetime without ever maturing. How does one grow up, exactly? Are we ever really taught this? Or does it just come upon us one day, like an alarm going off in the soul, a wake-up call to a higher way of living? What are the factors involved in growing up? I guess we must study a child in order to understand what the adult looks like. The first part of growing up is learning that life just isn't fair. When something doesn't go our way, we can cry forever, or we can cry and then accept the situation for what it is. This piece of acceptance is no easy lesson. If before you stood at a table with 2 pennies, 1 nickel, and a $100 bill, and God said, "You may have everything but the $100, how would you react? With gratitude or sadittude? A child who cannot have a toy it greatly desires will likely throw a tantrum fit. Some of us are born getting everything we desire, but most of us have to work for the things we want in life. And the concept of working towards a goal is something most of us are not so keen on. I especially struggle with this concept. When one can see the future that is possible, but has to take all the steps to arrive there, it can be very overwhelming and frustrating. But growing up involves learning how to put all the pieces together to build the object of one's desires. Remember, the things you work hard for are the things that last forever, whereas money comes and goes. So what else is involved in growing up? How do we reach a higher level of maturity? Letting go of childish behaviors seems to come next in my mind. Kids are really good at teasing and making fun of each other. This seemingly innocent act can really take a toll on someone and even affect them into their adulthood. Name-calling has to be one of the most immature behaviors. But why do we do it? Perhaps because we feel badly about our own self. Bully-like behavior usually stems from a lack of self-worth. So how do we grow out of name-calling? Sometimes we don't see how something affects somebody until it happens to us. Fostering self-love is one of the most important parts of growing up. Name-calling is actually a form of emotional abuse. It affects the mind, body, and spirit negatively. We often don't realize how powerful words are until they hit us like a stab wound. So next time you find yourself name-calling as an adult, that's your wake-up call. It's time to grow up. Lastly, growing up involves letting go of the ego. What is the ego anyway? It's a part of your mind that always needs to be right, always needs to have the upper hand and the last word. Have you ever met someone who insists on being right all the time? That is the ego speaking. The thing we don't usually realize is that just because something may be right for you, that doesn't make it right for everyone else. Maybe it's right for you to wait until you're married to have children, but maybe this is not so important for someone else. The ego tends to have a blueprint that is set in stone, a way of operating that is unchangeable. It will always argue, and it always has to win. Another time we see the ego is when others have something that we don't have, like money, or a spouse, or a nice car. The ego is like the permanent child self part of our being. It will always want to throw a tantrum fit, kick and scream until it gets its way. But growing up means you don't always get your way. Growing up involves taming the animal in you that constantly wants to fight. The only way to do this is to realize that there's nothing to win except your own peace of mind. So today I challenge you. In what ways are you not grown up? Don't worry, I have many myself. Once again, accepting that life isn't always fair, not needing to use name-calling, and taming the ego are prime ways to achieve maturity. We are all in this boat together, and if we want to stay afloat, we have to grow up, take the higher road, and learn how to put up the sails together. If we want the boat to sail, we have to do the work to learn the steps, which eventually will set us free. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.